The thing I want to acknowledge is that the president was right when he said we're misled. And one of the misleading things which I was telling Zizi now was, we're told that the president, if he goes back to office, he will amend the constitution of the Republic of South Africa so that he stays forever in power in South Africa. The second one was that he's concocting charges against President Zuma. And that President Zuma is not corrupt, he's an honorable man, and therefore he is fighting against President Zuma because he's got his own ideas on how the ANC must go forward. And thanks God, we lived to see for ourselves that no one was actually concocting charges against Zuma. Zuma was corrupt himself. And even when they left the office, the people who were concocting charges against him, he still got new accusations in the absence of those who were alleged to be concocting charges against him. So we've realized much more later that we're actually misled. The question which, Mr. President, you need to deal with is the issue of corruption. You can say all good things here. The reality of the situation is that we are counted amongst the most highly corrupt countries. Yet there is no high profile or a political figure, including a business figure, who has been successfully jailed for corruption. It happened under you. One of them was Tony Ngeni, and then later on there was Jackie Slavey and all that. Corruption is very high in South Africa today, but there's no single individual who has been jailed for that. And which means that corruption is being glorified and being celebrated. And as a result, that is driving a lot of people away from what used to be a glorious movement. So if you deal with that, Mr. President, I think your organization will regain a lot of strength. The second issue you need to deal with is the issue of the land. We shouldn't shy away from it. The land is in the hands of the minorities, and we know, and you know that history better than me. And we have agreed that willing buyer, willing seller is not working. Mr. President, the policy of willing buyer, willing seller, which you adopted, it was going to be good if our people had money, they would buy. But even when our people have money, Mr. President, and there is no willing seller, they won't buy. Because there must be a willing seller to be the willing buyer. So you don't have the money, you cannot buy. Okay. Even when you have the money, there is no willing seller. Therefore, the land remains in the hands of the minorities. So we need a much more genuine, radical program to redistribute the land. Thank you.